goes back-to-back with Brandon. What a long home run to left for Harrison Bader. It's his 15th of the year and his third since joining the Phillies. It's 5-1.
So, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos regarding what happened to that in that Phillies game. So apparently this woman, didn't really catch her name, but everyone online is calling her Phillies Karen. Thought that that was her ball. She caught the home run, but instead it was the father of the boy who got it first before her. And she made a very big deal about it, and unfortunately for her, it basically backfired tremendously. So I'm not really a big sports guy. I don't watch a lot of baseball, basketball, or football. um, I wouldn't I'm not really too familiar with the rules of catching a home run ball or a foul ball, but in my opinion, I would say it's first come first serve. If the ball is literally in your hand, then it's obviously yours. But from the looks of the video, it didn't even look like she even had the ball in her hand. She was still trying to reach for it. But luckily for the other guy, he got it before her. And even with the video, you can clearly see that it wasn't even in her. I mean, yeah, it went towards her section of her seats, but it didn't land in her. If anything, it didn't even land on her row. It landed on the row in front of her, and her, I would assume, is either her husband or her boyfriend. They both try to reach it, but the other guy, the father of the kid, she snatched the ball away from. He was there first. I mean, he wasn't there first. He obviously ran to the location of the ball, and he was able to get it before anyone else can get it. And so, yeah, basically for me, it's first come first serve. If you like literally have the ball in your hand, it's automatically yours. At least that's what I think. That's how the rule is. I don't, like I said, I don't watch a lot of sports, so I wouldn't know what the regulations or rules are when it comes to catching a foul, or in this case, a home run ball. So yeah, I feel like this towards the end of this year, it's been like all about people misbehaving in a large event like baseballs, or in that one last video we seen with Coldplay, with those two CEOs cheating on their spouses, and they got caught, which was hilarious. So yeah, it was those. I mean, there's been cases like this way before, but I feel like those two, being Coldplay, and there were two CEOs cheating on their spouses. I feel like they started something new with this whole trends of misbehaving in an event like, say, the concert or baseball games. After Coldplay was just, funny and ironically that there was another incident similar to that, regarding a CEO. I think it was in a no, it was a tennis or baseball. I totally forgot what it was about. But basically, the CEO decided to snatch a hat that was about to be given to a kid, and his response was like, he was faster. But from the looks of the video, you don't see the player giving the hat to anybody. He legitimately looked like it was more towards the kids um, direction, and he probably wanted the kid to have it, not anybody else. But unfortunately, the kid didn't notice it, and that's when the CEO decided to like snatch it and take it for himself. That was pretty much fucked up. But yeah, other than that, yeah, the latest thing is the one with the Karen, the Phillies Karen, who decided to, make a big deal about this home run ball, which is, I don't even think it's even worth a lot. From what I've seen online, I would say it was worth only $10. And to, complain about something that for all we know, she doesn't even have a huge collection in her home. That for all we know, she's just gonna leave it anywhere and then misplace it in the future. So she just wanted it, I guess, a souvenir that day. And unfortunately for her, it backfired tremendously. So after that whole incident, the very next day, she was just like ridiculed with insults, which makes perfectly sense too, because she basically took away a kid's present on that, or it wasn't his birthday supposedly. It was, I think it was like 8 days from now, but still, like instead of just giving it to the kid, she decided like it was her ball. It was in her area. She had the rights to it, not to whoever has it in their hand first. But yeah, in the end, it came something good. It came out of it. The kid, he received a goodie bag from the I would assume it was from the stadium, the people who worked at the stadium. And then on top of that, he was able to meet up with the player who hit the home run. He got to meet him, and he got a autograph bat signed by the player. So in the end, it came out. In the end of the day, the kid was able to get something for his birthday. But unfortunately for the Karen who decided to take the ball for herself, yeah, it didn't really end so well. So yeah, the online community is like basically making so many AI generations of her taking the ball, and on top of that, the apparently she lost her job too. And I don't know, I've been seeing a lot of post rumors about her supposedly wanting to leave the country because she's been insulted and ridiculed about the whole situation. And I doubt, you don't have to go that to the extreme to leave. Yeah, you're being hated right now, but it's something that no one's gonna constantly remind you of until the day you die. People forget. There's been so many stuff happening way before her that almost everyone forgot about. I mean, I almost forgot about the whole Coldplay concert. That was like a thing that happened, I think, a month ago. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, she's definitely going to be old news within the end of this year. So, I think she's taking it drastically if she is saying that she's going to flee the country because she can't handle the ridicule. You're literally, yeah, you're being hated. You're hated now, but by the end of the day, people are going to forget because people don't tend to hold, like, I wouldn't say hold grudges, but they're not going to constantly remind you. They're literally going to forget about you in the end. So I don't know, the whole thing about her leaving to live somewhere else, I don't think that's true. If it is, I personally think it's pointless because again, no one's gonna care enough to remember who you are. Yeah, you just had that one day where people like make the entire world, or not, I wouldn't say the entire world, but the entire internet community literally is making fun of you because you decided to do the wrong thing, because you're selfish that day. Um, it's kind of funny too because this incident kind of reminds me of another incident that happened with an older gentleman at another baseball game. So apparently, um, the older gentleman caught the ball and it was in his hands, but then um, another guy who was there at the game as well, he decided to wrestle the ball out of his hand. So in that scenario, that would make sense. Like if that was the Karen, like if she had the ball in her hand, but then the dad like legitimately just went for it and tried to pry it off her hands, then the internet wouldn't be on his side. They'll definitely be on her side. But in this scenario, she decided to be selfish and said, that was her ball. It was in her vicinity of her seat, and so she had the rights to it, even though she didn't touch it. I mean, the video doesn't really clearly show if her hand was even on the ball. Maybe she did had it, but at one point it slipped out of her hand and it fell to the next aisle in front of her, and that's when the guy was able to get it before her. But no, I mean, if it was the one in that one case of the video where the guy pried it out of the old man's hand, if that was her, then okay, obviously that makes the father the bad guy, not the Karen. But no, which I'm kind of surprised that no one, I'm sure in the future or later on, somebody will identify that guy who decided to pry the baseball out of that old guy's hand. But as right now, it just seems like this Phillies Karen is the main target of the audience right now. Like, she did something selfish, and it wasn't an older person, but it happens to be a younger person, a kid, and it was there during his, I would assume, the weeks before his birthday to celebrate his early birthday. So yeah, so again, I think it's if you decide to go to a big event like a sport or concert, you better be on your best behavior, because it seems like that's the trend right now that we are in. We're seeing a lot of people misbehaving in the stadiums or in big concerts, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it's gonna die down eventually, but yeah, I guess that's our new go-to for entertainment, catching people doing bad at a concert or a stadium, sport stadium. Well, like I said, she's a she's a bitch now, but again, people are gonna forget about her because she's really irrelevant. Like, yeah, she did a shitty thing, but by the end of the day, people are gonna forget about her. So I know I heard that she lost her job. Apparently, it said that she worked for the school, I believe, as an administrator, some sort. I'm not 100% sure how reliable this source is, but it's kind of weird and fucked up to think that this is how, like, if this is how you act out in public, I can't imagine how you would act with at your own job that happens to deal with kids on a daily basis. So I don't know. Let's hopefully she was professional about it at her work, but from what I'm seeing on the internet, she's been fired from her job. I think there's like three speculations as to where she was working. So first, for me, what I've heard was the school administration, and then the second one I believe had to do with insurance. So I don't think, I'm personally not sure 100% where she worked, but apparently they said she was fired because apparently where she worked at, they've been getting calls about her actions, and that was bad for business, so they had to let her go. So I'm sure she'll get a job eventually. I'm not sure by, I don't know, maybe good for next year. Where are we in September, October, November, December? I don't know. Maybe she can start looking within November. I'm sure she would have been forgotten by now, but still, again, to think that you're gonna flee the country because you did this one thing is, it's, yeah, you're a bitch for doing it, but I don't think you have to be drastic enough to flee the country just because you're being ridiculed. Eventually, people are gonna forget. People have done shitty things in the past, and literally we forgot all about them because we're so focused on the now, not at what happened before. The last thing I can remember people getting upset about someone and bringing it up would have to be the one where that one tourist decides to climb the Mexican um, ruins. She enters the temple. She does a little dumb dance, and then as she comes down, and instead of being praised, she been shouted with ridicule, and everybody, like, legitimately everyone who lived in that area were like insulting her and saying she was very disrespectful. That happened way before, and we all obviously forgot about it, but that's literally the only thing I can remember. So yeah, hopefully this is a learning experience for her. She'll definitely think twice before misbehaving in a very large public area, because it's gonna obviously affect her negative way. Excuse me. But that's it for today. That's my thoughts on the matter. If you have the ball in your hand, then it's obviously yours. First come, first serves. But if it's near you but you haven't touched it yet, then it's honestly up for grabs until you grab it. So if there's any lesson to this situation, it's always be on your best behavior because you have no idea who's watching you and how big it'll blow up on the internet. Well, until next time, see ya.